Okay, a very good morning, everyone. So we are starting our session on Microsoft Technology Associate 98381 Introduction to Programming using Python. Okay, here you are going to understand what is Python programming, what all tools we use in order to start with Python programming. Then we'll undergo great resources. We'll see the references provided to us by python.org slash for the latest version. We'll quickly check back, and we're going to implement all those codes in a online collaboratory file known as Google Colab. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm sharing my screen with all the participants. So here, so first of all, in order to get started with the course, I would like to introduce you what all we need to cover. I'll take you to hack-with-a.in. On our website, under IT courses, you're going to get Python programming, introduction to programming using Python. All the contents are available over here. So I would like to give you a quick introduction to programming using Python. For this course, you will undergo following objectives you have to complete. You are going to perform operations and you have to understand different data types, operators, followed by you need to understand control flow, decisions, if-else statements, and loops, followed by how we perform input and output operations with file and with different types of data formats available. Structured code. You'll proceed towards troubleshooting and error handling. And finally, you're going to understand operations by using modules and tools. So these will be the broad areas which we will be covering in Python programming. Okay. In order to cover this, we will also use references from the official website python.org. So you all can navigate to python.org, wherein this is the official website of Python programming language. We will see all the references from here. Okay. You can quickly proceed to documentation. You can go to docs. When you click on docs, it will ask you, there are two versions available for Python. Python 2.x version, which is generally known as the stable version, is Python 2.7, and Python 3.x documentation. So Python 3.x has 3.5, 3.6, 3.7. The latest working version is pre-stable release is 3.8, which we can use. So I'll show you that. We would like to start with latest version of Python. So let's click on Python 3.x docs. So you can see that these are the stable versions available. Python 2.7 is a stable version. Then Python 3.7 is the most used stable version at the moment. There is a pre-release version 3.8, which is under test and trial. And shortly we will be having Python 3.8 version available as well, so that we can code using that. And the upcoming version will be Python 3.9, which is under development. Okay. Since, as you all can see, this is under development, Python 3.9 version is under development. So what you can do is you can quickly explore the source codes and what all new things they are implementing in. So the source codes for Python programming language is available on this website. This is github.com/python/cpython. If you go to this website, you're going to get access to Python source codes. Okay, Python codes written in C programming language. So you can see that here you're going to get access to latest Python version. So this is Python version 3.9 alpha 0. So what all new features they will be implementing in, you can quickly explore the source codes from here. Okay, and I will also let you know how you are going to understand various data types and their codes, which is available on GitHub. So these three resources are pretty important for all of you to understand. Now, before I proceed further, I would like to take you to our official communication on Trello. Is my voice audible to all of you? Ask your friend to connect to the audio. She is not connecting to the audio. Okay, now here. So I have started an intern group 4 here. Voice under intern group 4. Let me add your name as well. So we will also have Shresh Mehta. Shresh, is your spelling correct? And let me know your email ID as well so that I can quickly add you. Let me know your email ID. SHRESHT Shresh 345678 at gmail.com. So all your submissions you will be doing here under the comment section. What all checklist we have to cover, you can create your own checklist here in this card. Okay. And all the notes and videos which we will be maintaining during this session, they will be available over here. Okay. So whatever new information we will be supplying in, we are going to specify all that information here under mentor notes and videos. So you will be able to access the videos from here. Okay. Now, so let's start our session from here. So here are the following resources which you guys need to know. First one is, this is the course curriculum. You guys need to create your checklist from this curriculum. Okay. So kindly create your checklist so that you are sure that you all have completed all the required topics. Now, the second thing which we need to do is we need to explore Python stable version, which is Python 3.7.4. Okay. We will be working on this version, Python 3.7.4. So I would like to copy this and I would like to save here. Okay. And third is Python source codes for the latest course contents. You all have to create checklists in your own card. Okay. Create a checklist in your own card using this document MTA 98381 Introduction to Programming using Python. Second, Python 3.7.4 references. So we will be using Python 3.7.4 in order to understand how it works. And third is the third part is Python programming source codes. Okay, so they are available over here for latest version 3.9.0 version. Okay, this is the next upcoming release which will be available. So you guys need to access these resources which I have uploaded on Mentor Card. Now let's get started. One more resource which you guys will be using, this will be write your Python code using Jupyter Notebook available on Google Colab. Okay, the URL is https colab.research.google.com. So we'll write all our source codes on Jupyter Notebook using Google Collaboratory. Okay, so let's save it. So these are the 4 important resources which you guys need to access. Now I'll take you here, collab.research.google.com. Okay, now, so once you guys are here on collab.research.google.com, make sure you are signed in with Google. Once you're signed in with Google, you're going to get an interface like this. Welcome to Collaboratory. And we all have to start with new Python 3 notebook. Okay, Neha, is my voice audible to you? Okay, so now let us start new Python 3 notebook. When we click here, it is going to create a new Python notebook for us. Okay, first thing we need to configure is the name of this Jupyter notebook. So we need to configure name of this Jupyter notebook, and I would like to call it something like, let's say, my first program, first Python program. Okay, so I have named it like first program.ipynb. Okay, I have named this notebook as first program.ipynb. And just to tell you, ipynb stands for Interactive Python Notebook extension. IPYNB extension stands for Interactive Python Notebook. Okay. So once you're done with this, you can observe this is known as a code cell. Okay. This section, which you can see here, is known as a code cell. Whatever code you will type in here, it will be parsed. But if you specify hash before any statement, that means it's a single line commit. Okay. In order to run the cell, you can click on play icon, and there is a shortcut known as Control Enter. So what you can do is you can click on a cell and you can either press play, it will run the cell, or else Control plus Enter is the shortcut which will help you execute the cell code. Okay. You can add as many cells you want in Python notebook. Okay. So you can add multiple cells one by one. Okay. So as of now, you can see that I have 3 cells. So what we can do is we can change the orientation of these cells as well. Let's say if I say this is cell 1, then second if I configure cell 2, and let's say this is cell 3. Okay. These are 3 different cells at the moment. When you click play, only one of the cell will run. If you want to change the order of these cells, you can click on a cell, okay, and you can shift it down. So let's say if I click on this, so you can see that cell 2 is now above and cell 1 is down. If you click on cell 1, if you want to move it further down, you can click again and you can push it on row number 3. If you want cell number 3 to go to the top, you can click on this up icon and you can change the orientation this way. In case if you want to delete any cell, you can select and you can delete the cell. Okay. So these operations will help you handle your codes easily. Now let's get started with the Python programming code. So this is a single line command. Okay, and if you want to specify multi-line comment, so triple quote can help you create multi-line comments. Okay, can you see that? So when you run this cell, these will not be parsed because these all are multi-line comments. Okay. One more thing. When you run this cell, you have to ensure that your notebook is connected with Google Cloud Platform on this section. So if it is connected, it will show you that it is connected to Python 3 Google Compute Engine backend, where you have got 12 GB RAM and 49 GB disk space. Is that clear? So it's running on a browser, but all the operations will be done on Google Compute Engine. Okay, it's like we are using cloud platform in order to write this Python codes. Is that clear? So all your codes will be saved. It will be available in Drive. You can access it anytime, anywhere through phone or through on any computer. So that will make your life easy. Okay. Now, so once you are done with this single line comment and multi-line comment, let's add a new code set. Okay. Now what we want to do? Now we want to start with Python references and we would like to see what all we need to cover. So first of all, we need to understand, evaluate an expression to identify the data type Python will assign to each variable. Data types include string, integer, float, and boolean. These things we have to cover. Okay, we have to cover the following data types: string, integer, float, and boolean. Is that clear? Now let's see how we are going to use all this. So we'll go to collaboratory and let's say create a string. Okay. In order to create a string, what you can do is, let me just call it as string one. I'll call, let's say I'm going to create a name variable and I'm going to call it as Devanshu Shukla. Okay. So name, you can quickly see that when we create a string, we create a string using double quotes. We create a string using double quotes. Okay. And then what we do, we save that information onto a variable. Is that clear? Programming runs from right hand side to left hand side. Right hand side you will have data, left hand side you'll have variables, wherein you are going to store that information. So now this is the way how we create strings. Now, in case if you want, you can also create string using single quotes. Okay. Here it was create string using double quotes. You can also create strings using single quotes. So I would like to create one more variable, name one, and let's call it as, let's take your name, Abhishek Gautam. Okay, but we have to make it with single line quote. Okay. So what we did, we have executed this cell, and now Abhishek Gautam is stored in name one, Devanshu Shukla is stored in name. And you guys have to run this cell. So click on run. Okay. Once you're done by clicking run. Now let's go to new code cell, and here I'm going to use a function known as print the variables name and name one. So I'm going to call print function. Print function can display output on the standard output stream, or it can also store it in a file. Okay. So now what you can do is you can quickly put a question mark to take help on print function. Whenever you have a function available or a class available, you can quickly put a question mark before it to get help from the console itself. Okay, let's do that. So when you run this, now you can see you're going to get help for print function. Now what can be done? This is a format to specify print. In print, what you can do is either you can print single value or you can pass multiple values separated by comma. Okay. When you print multiple values, the default separator between those values will be space character. If you want to change it, you can change it as well. If you want to separate it with commas, you can quickly specify this optional parameter SEP equal to comma. Then at the end of every print statement, there will be a new line operator appended. By default, whatever output you would like to print, it will be done on standard output stream, which means it will be displayed to you on console. But suppose if you want to save it into a file, you can define a file path here also. Okay. And finally, you can clear the values. Okay. You can flush the values. So in case if you want to get the help whether to forcibly flush the stream, this is the standard output stream. End means string appended after the last value. Separator is string appended inserted between values. And file is a file-like stream default to current standard output stream. These are all the options which you can print, which you can use while printing the values. Okay. Now, so suppose I just want to print single variable. I can define name here and I can run. So I'm going to get Devanshu Shukla here. If I want to print name 1, I can run this cell and it will display me Abhishek Gautam. Okay. If I want to display both the characters name, comma name 1, I can pass multiple values. When I run, I'm going to get both the names Devanshu Shukla, Abhishek Gautam. In case if I want to change the separator as comma, and if I run it, now you can see that I'm going to get Devanshu Shukla, comma Abhishek Gautam. Okay. So these are the following ways. So let us just go again. You're going to print single value. Okay. Then name and name 1. Here we are going to print multiple values. Print multiple values. Then third, I would like to say name is comma name. Name 1 is name 1. Okay. So here we are printing string concatenated with variable. Okay. This is how we can print. Okay. This is how you can print. Print values, print variables with text. And finally, what you're going to do? You're going to print using a separator. So I would like to say name is comma name comma separator is equal to, let's say I would like to use a separator like this. Instead of space, I would like to use a separator like colon. Okay. Now let's run all these cells. So when we run all this cell, you can see that your single value is printed. Name and name 1 both are printed. Name is Devanshu Shukla, name is Abhishek Gautam. Third row is also printed. and name is name separated by colon. So this is also printed successfully. Okay, is that clear? So this is how you guys can use print statement to print the output. Okay, now let's add a new code set. Now what I want to do, I want to check the data types in Python using type function. There's a type function in Python which can print the type of the value. Okay, so here is the type function. You can put question mark and you can take a quick help on it. Okay, so what it will do, you're going to define the type and you're going to pass in a variable and you're going to get the type of that variable. Okay, so now let's say I would like to check the type of name variable which we have created. Okay, check the type of name variable. So when we run this, you can see that it is of string type. Okay, let's check the type of name one. Check the type of name one variable. So name one is also string. Okay. Now here you can see that only one string came. Because if you are not using a print statement, only the last statement with the value, that value will be displayed out. Okay. Now we are going to print the type. Print the type of name and name one. So we are going to call the print function. We'll say type of name is, use the function type and provide the value name. So we are going to get the output like this. Type of name is class string. Okay, is that clear to everyone? So now you guys are going to print the type of name one. Let's print type of name one is, let's pass in the function type and give the value name one. Now this time you can see both the print statements will be available. So whenever you want to display the output of all the statements, in that case you need to specify print function. Okay, print will display the value of out on the standard output stream. Is that clear? Now you can see that here we just put the values. We have created a string, we stored it into the variable, and automatically the name has become string type. Okay, so you don't need to define data type in Python. आपको पाइथन में डेटा टाइप डिफाइन करने की जरूरत नहीं है. यहाँ का जो डेटा टाइप है वो सब implicit डेटा टाइप्स. Whatever data you are going to store on a variable, automatically it will become of that type. Okay. Now, so let's go to the next code set. So we'll go here at the bottom. Now we are going to explore other data types. Okay. So explore other data types like float, integer, boolean. Okay. So let's say I'm going to call it as variable float. So if I have a value 10.25 in decimals, okay. So let's print type of variable float is, we're going to call type function and you're going to specify variable underscore float. Okay. So you have defined variable float value. And now we are checking the output of variable float. So when you pass the value in decimal, it becomes float type automatic. Okay. Now we are going to use variable integer. Let's say I have passed in a value 10 and I would like to print type of variable integer is type function variable underscore integer. So when you put a non-decimal value, an integer value, you're going to get the output type of set data is stored in the variables. Okay. So you have got the following variables. Next, we're going to take variable boolean. So if you specify information like this, true, okay, so there are two options. Print type of variable boolean is type of variable bool. Okay, let's check. So when you run this, so true is not defined. By default, there is no true available in 3.7 version. So whenever you are going to define true value or false value, it has to be in uppercase. Okay. Now when you run, it will display you the variable boolean is of class boolean. Okay. In the same way, variable boolean false. So you have to put it false. And then you have to print type of variable boolean false is type variable boolean false. So this will give you an output as boolean again. Okay, is that clear? So now you guys are clear with string, float, integer, and boolean. These are the data types which are used in Python programming language. Okay, are you all done? Are you all done with the code? Now, what next? Now let's say, given a problem statement, store data in appropriate variables. Okay. Let's say name of student is Devanshu Shukla. Age of student is 29. Okay. Result of student is true, which means pass. Okay, either he will be pass or fail. So result of student is true, and height of student 5.8. Okay. So now you guys have to store all the variables on the right hand side in the all the data in the right hand side on a variable. ठीक है, चलिए start बनाइए आप लोग. This is a question for all of you. Then you have to print the type of each variable. Name, age, result, height. Okay, are you all done? So whenever you are given with a problem, you're going to create appropriate variables and you're going to store the appropriate values in each of the variables. So result will be true, height will be 5.8, and name will be Devanshu. Okay. So you have written in capitals or small? तो अभी क्या बताया था 2 मिनट? इतना बड़ा दिख नहीं रहा, और बड़ा करने की जरूरत है. अभी करके बताया था, एरर करके भी दिखाया था मैंने. Okay, now you have to print the type of age, okay. So you need to print it like this. All the values you need to print. Age is comma age, and type is type of age. You need to print the output for each value is like this. Age is 29 and type is integer. Okay, print in this way. Next, age is, oh sorry, result is and type is okay. In the same way, you guys have to print all other variables like height, name, and so on. So from real-time information, we have to store the values into variables. Okay. So this is how you can grab the height as float. Finally, name is and type is name. Okay. So this way you can understand different information can be represented with different types of variables. Okay. So if you have integer information, you are going to store it into a variable and it will automatically become integer type. If you have a Boolean value, which is of type bool, whenever you are going to store it into a variable result, it is going to be, result is going to become Boolean type. Height is float type and name is string type. Is that clear? So these were the basic operations which we did. Now let's go to the documentation and see some advanced operations. So we'll go to 3.7.4 documentation and we are going to click on tutorial where it is written start here. Okay. So here we have to start from here, an informal introduction to Python. Go to chapter number 3. Okay. Are you all, have you all reached here? So let's put collab on one side of the screen. And let's put this also on another side of the screen. Okay. So we have started with informal introduction using Python. So now when it comes to numbers, okay, you can use Python as a calculator. So what they say, using Python as a calculator. So you can try some simple Python commands, start the interpreter and wait for the prompt, but that's not required because we already are on Jupyter Notebook. Now we need to go to numbers and we have to perform some operations. So the interpreter, the Python interpreter acts as a simple calculator. You can type an expression at it and it will write the value. Expression syntax is straightforward. The operators are plus, minus, into, and divide. Work just like in most other languages. Parentheses can also be used for grouping the elements. Okay. So now, so here are certain operations like plus, minus, into, divide, and there are different types of options available. Okay. So let's go for an addition. So let's say I have a value 589 plus 654. If I run it, I'm quickly going to get a result as 1243. We can perform addition on numbers. Okay, I have shared the link with you to reach to this documentation, docs.python.org/3 tutorial introduction. And on introduction, go to chapter 3.1. Okay. So you can quickly run your cell like this. Okay. You can get the output, or else you can also You can also add it somewhat like this. Let's say salary is 35,000. Commission is 2,500. Okay. Total salary will be salary plus commission. Okay. So let's print total underscore salary. So let's say you are given a value 35,000 and 2,500. So you can also perform addition operations like this. You can take an integer value, you can store it into a variable, you can perform that. Or else you can also directly calculate like this, 35,000 plus 2,500. So you can get the output again. So both ways you can get the same out. Okay. So Python interpreter helps you execute mathematical operations just like a calculator. Now let's say I would like to say 10 divided by 2. I would like to perform a division. It's going to give me value of 5. Okay. That's called as division operation. Then let's go for multiplication. 10 into 20. Multiplication. So when I go to multiplication, I get 200. I want to go to subtraction. 40 minus 80. Subtraction. 40 minus 80 is minus 40. Okay. Okay, so you can perform all these operations. Moreover, let's say if you want to do let's say you have a value of x as 20 and y as 30. You want to calculate x raised to the power 2 plus y raised to the power 2. You want to calculate like this, x square plus y square. Okay. So we can use parentheses as well, x into x plus y into y, x into x plus y into y. Let's run it. So we get 1300. If we would have done it directly, x into x plus y into y, then it would be 300. Okay. Okay. Now, so you have done these operations. Now we'll see some more options. Like here, if you see division, there is a single slash which always returns a float value. Okay. To do floor division and get an integer result, discarding any fractional result, you can also use double slash. So double slash stands for floor division, wherein the remainder is going to be an integer value. Okay. To calculate the remainder, you can use mod. Sorry, this is the output is going to be an integer value. Okay. So let's say regular division. 53 divided by 7. 53 divided by 7 is 7.571428, a big value. Okay, print. But next we are going to print floor division. In order to perform floor division on integers, you can use 53/7. So when you print both the statements, in regular division you can see that you get the decimal numbers, but in floor division you only get an integer. Okay. If you want to get the remainder of division, so let's say I want to do 5 divided by 2. And I want to get the remainder. So I'm going to define this value as percent. It's going to be 1. If I'm going to call it as 3, the remainder is going to be 2. 3 1 the 3, left is 2. 5 minus 3 equal to 2. So you can get the remainder also. Let's say 53, when you divide by 7, what is the remainder? Remainder is 4. Okay. 7 7 is 49. 53 minus 49 is 4. So you can perform regular division, floor division, and you can get the remainder as out of the division. Now what next? Now you're going to perform result into divisor plus remainder. Okay, so that's like you'll be able to do it easily. 5 into 3 plus 2. Okay. Now with Python, it is possible to use double star operator to calculate powers. So let's say if you want to calculate cube root, cube, or you want to calculate square, you want to calculate quad, you want to calculate raised to the power of 10, raised to the power of 20, you can quickly do that with double star. Okay. So let's calculate powers in Python. Calculate powers in Python. Okay. So let's say calculate 10 raised to the power, let's say calculate 10 raised to the power 20 or 8, 10 raised to the power 8. Let's call it as 2 raised to the power 8. Calculate 2 raised to the power 8. So we're going to print 2 raised to the power 8. Double star is the power sign. So we are going to get 256. So 2 into 2 into 2 after 8 times will give you 2 raised to the power of 8. And you're going to grab the result. Now I'm going to give you a real-time situation. Okay. Real-time situation is in networking, we have IPv4 address. Okay. So here is a question for powers which you need to calculate. In networking, we have IPv4 address. Size of IPv4 is 32-bit of binary. Calculate total number of IPv4 addresses possible. Calculate total number of IPv4 addresses. This is, you guys have to calculate. The binary is 0, 1. So there is an IP address, let's say. So actually I would like to define one more thing. Let's say This is your IP address 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Okay, this is your minimum value. Then there will be different values, and the maximum value for an IP address, IPv4 address would be 1. So now you need to calculate this. Calculate total combination. Okay. So in networking, we have an IPv4 address. Size of IPv4 is 32-bit of binary. Calculate total number of IP. Tell me the value. Okay, calculate and send your answers on chat. Okay, so when we do 2 raised to the power 32, we get a value like this. So this could be the possible number of value. Okay, for all the IP addresses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So 429 crore, 429 crore IP addresses are possible. Binary bits 0 and 1, 2, and raised to the power 32 because there are 32 bits available. Okay, is that clear? So let's go here. Let's print 2 raised to the power 32. Total IP address possible. Okay, let's quickly check back because there. So IPv4 address size is 4294.967.296. This pool is 32 bits, 2 raised to the power 32 in size. Okay. So the IPv4 addresses which you guys use is this 4294.967.296. You can quickly do that with Python. Is that clear? Now, let's go for the next problem statement. Calculate IPv6 address size. So IPv6 is 128 bit of hexadecimal. It's not binary. It's 128 bit of hexadecimal. So hexadecimal is 16. So we can print IPv6 address size is 16 raised to the power 128, which is this big number. So these many IP addresses would be possible. Let's just cross check IPv6 address size. Okay, here 3402823 something addresses are possible. IPv4 has very less. IPv6 has a huge address space possible. Okay, is that clear? That's why industry is now using IPv6 addresses, because IPv4 addresses are over. Okay. Now, one more question. I'll show you one more concept of networking here. TCP header format. I'm showing you transmission control. TCP IP packets you use in internet. What we do is, when it comes to internet, I think this looks better. Yes. Okay. Consider this is your IPv4 length, transmission control protocol. Okay. Total number of bits of transmission control protocol is 32 bit. 32 bit. Okay. So it starts from 0. This is 10, this is 20, this is 30, and this is 2 more. Total 32. Okay. Now in this 32 bit, there is a source port, there is a destination port. Tell me, what is the size of source port? 16 bit. What is the size of source port? It is 16 bit. What is the size of destination port? 16 bit. Collectively, they are 32 bit. So 32 bit is the IPv4 address format, which you already calculated. Now you have to calculate how many source ports are possible and how many destination ports are possible. Okay, calculate and tell me how many source ports are possible. Calculate and tell me. You all have to calculate total source port in TCP/IP networking and total number of destination port in every machine. Okay. So let's calculate. Print source port size, and these 32-bit are of binary. So 2 raised to the power 16. These are total number of source ports possible. 65,536. Print destination port size. Again, it is 2 raised to the power 60, which is 65,536. So it starts from 0 up till 65,535. Okay. Is that clear? So now you can tell us source port has a value starting from 0 to 65,535. This is the total possible values. Now there is a sequence number. There is an acknowledgement number. What is the size of sequence number and acknowledgement number? 32-bit. Okay. Then there is synchronize request, acknowledgement request. What is the size of synchronize and acknowledge? 1 bit. Okay. So 1 bit means 1 bit of binary, either it will be 0 or 1. Either syn will be on or off. So 2 raised to the power 1 will be 2. Okay. Then you have a checksum. What is the checksum size? 16 bit. What is the urgent pointer size? What is the padding size? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. What is the size? 7 bits. What is the data size in a TCP/IP header format? 32 bit. Okay. So now I guess you are able to calculate this information. Is that clear? So now suppose now you have done some basic mathematical operations here, but these mathematical operations are very important when it comes to a utility. So you need to learn programming, you need to learn the basic mathematical functions, but the utility is important. You need to use it for a specific purpose. Okay. So as of now, we used it for calculation of TCP/IP header format, source, how many source ports are there, how many destination ports are there, how many total IPv4 addresses are possible, how many IPv6 addresses possible, and so on. Is that clear? So mathematics, basic mathematics is used in networking a lot. Okay. You need to calculate reminders, you need to calculate flow divisions, and you need to do a lot of stuff. Okay. Now, so let's open this. So you have calculated the squared values, and now I hope you will be able to perform all these operations. Okay, one important option. In interactive mode, the last printed expression is assigned to a variable known as underscore. Okay, this means that when you are using Python as a desk calculator, it is somewhat easier to continue calculations. What does this mean? Let's have a look. So guys, see, let's say I have done a basic calculation. 30 plus 45 plus 22. I've got a value which is 197. Okay. Now, I have not stored this value 197 anywhere. But if I want to recall it, by default, this value will be stored into a variable known as underscore. If you do not assign a value, the last printed value by default will be stored under a variable known as underscore. So if you directly call underscore, you're going to get 197 printed. Okay. So let's say, if I say last calculated value is print underscore. So if I do this, I'm going to get last calculated value is 196. Now let's say if I change it, I do it 45 plus 27 and I run it. Now if I run the cell again, you're going to get 269 calculated. Okay, so this is how you can continue your calculation. In Python in interactive mode, there is a default operator. Which we guys? Yeah. Let's say, so if you want to take power of 2 for the value, you will get 72361. Okay, so here you have got the last calculated value is 269. Okay, so that's all for the day for operations. In the next session tomorrow, we'll continue from strings and followed by, we'll continue with other different format. After string, you're going to have certain operations on slicing, indexing, and a lot more. And then we'll continue with list, which is an important data structure. Okay, so tomorrow we'll dedicate our session for strings. Okay, thank you so much for being available. If there is any question, please ask.